What's going on, everybody? I mean, seriously, what is going on? I mean, it has been a while since I have seen you guys, and since then, so much has changed. I mean, it is unreal what this journey has entailed. I do believe the last time that I spoke with you guys, I was in Arizona, right? I was living at that hostel. I was kind of settling in. I was looking for jobs. um, Actually making some friends and did make a couple of friends there. But um, when I spoke to you that Friday night when I was in the hostel in Arizona, which was around Scottsdale, where I was at, northern Tempe, and all that stuff, um, that Friday night went well, right? So Saturday morning came, I woke up, did my normal thing, took a shower and stuff like that. And I tried to get back into my room, and the card that would get into the rooms was locked. Long story short, um, we got evicted from the hostel, right? So I was staying in Arizona, in Scottsdale, Tempe, that kind of area, and I had paid for the 2 weeks to stay there, and we got evicted. So I was like, "Are you kidding me? What's going on?" So I went and started talking to the manager, and she was like, "You got to get out, leave. But all of you need to go." Quite rude. And I'm like, "Go where? I mean, I don't know where to go. I mean, I don't know anything." And they're like, "You need to leave." Long story short is the place that I had booked the hotel with, they didn't pay the hotel. All right. I mean, I got refunded my basically $300 back that didn't get used, but I had no place to go. So as you guys were following me, right, I'm like, where am I going to? And finally it dawned on me, Jason, go camping. You can go there. So I drove 2 hours north to Prescott, and some of the stuff you guys saw that I posted, the pictures, I was in Prescott, Arizona, sitting at this campsite in brutal heat. All right. And I'm like, God, this is it. This is where I'm going to stay. 3 days into my camping trip there, right? Nobody was really at the campground. Nobody. Had shitty reception, couldn't do anything, couldn't even get signals on my phone. And so I got there Tuesday, Wednesday. By Thursday, I started getting extremely sick. And what do I mean by this? I mean, I know it's going to sound gross, but oh well. My groin really started to hurt, like I had been kicked, or what you call blue balls, right? It was excruciatingly painful, and it started early in the morning. Then I started getting sick. My stomach was queasy and gross, and all of this, and I began to throw up. But all I had to eat for the last 2 days was water. Then I got a blistering migraine. And by 6 o'clock in the afternoon or early evening, I was worn out. All right. And it dawned on me when I said, "You guys don't want me here," meaning the non physical. Sorry about the car, guys. I'll tell you about it in a minute. But um, so I went and laid down in the back of my Jeep, and I said, "Fine. I know I made a deal with you. I broke it. I will go to Sacramento, California. I will pack everything up in the morning and I will leave." And the moment I said that, I mean, literally the moment I said that, all pain started to fade from my body, right? And I knew right then and there that I had to go to Sacramento, California. So in the morning, I got up, had my normal routine, got naked in the middle of the road, washed up in my little where is it? I don't have it here right now. Oh yeah, this is my wash tub basin, guys. Right? This is what I wash up in every day because I'm living out of my Jeep. So took my bath, got everything, and just started driving to Sacramento, California. It was 700 miles. It took me 14 hours. Drove straight through, got to California, Sacramento. I'm I don't want to say bad things, but there was no place to stay. The homelessness there is in epic proportion. The drug use there is epic, right? I tried to find a place to sleep. There was no parks to go to. There was no anything. So I found this truck stop. I needed to sleep. I couldn't sleep my eyes off. I was rudely awakened by the police with the lights flashing, telling me that I could not sleep in my vehicle. I had to leave. So I drove around Sacramento for 2 hours, wasting gas. Mind you, here in California now, instead of it being $2.30 by me in Wisconsin, it is now $6.59, $6.80 a gallon. Okay. It took me over $90 to fill up a quarter tank of gas. Right. I'm out of money. I can't afford this. I finally fell asleep on the side of the road, and I found this truck stop area where I'm at now, which is 30 miles south of Sacramento, called Lodi, California. Beautiful truck stop. I've been able to sleep here. I can use the bathroom anytime I want. And I'm right across from a Jack in the Box burger joint. So I get up in the morning, fill my gallons of jugs of water up that I have in the back. I sit over here on the side, if you can see, which is right over here. And I shower in public because I have no place to stay. I have no money at the moment. But this is where I need to be. Now, during that time, guys, I have been applying to jobs. Okay. I've probably applied to 30 or 40 jobs. Not one job from the time I left Wisconsin when I started applying in Arizona and California. Not one job has gotten back to me and said, we'd like to hire you. Okay. Now, I've been working in this field, logistics or shipping and receiving, most of my life, 15, 20 years. All right. I have experience working with disabled adults with my college degrees, meaning autistic, bipolar, severely cognitive disabled, sexually abused, you name it. I've worked with them. Okay. Not one person since I started this has gotten back to me and wanted to hire me. Why is that? Now, if you remember to my crew that has been watching me, that I've been going through my awakening, which to all of you, that means the death of the ego. All right. Where I have no ego. I moved to California. I quit a job, moved to California with no job, no money, no place to stay, and everything else that you could think of. Right. And the whole entire way, I should have been utterly terrified. I should have been freaking out. I have no job. I'm moving to the most expensive state in the United States, right? And the whole time I was driving, not once did I have any ounce of fear in me. And I'm sorry the way I look, guys. I've lost a lot of weight. And I'm still here, and I still have absolutely no fear, except for a couple days ago. I'm getting like dangerously low on funds, and gas is so brutally expensive that I just basically sit, and I started to apply for jobs. And it dawned on me that I had started to fall back into fear. I had woken up to a video when I got onto my phone and checked the time, and for some reason hit Facebook right away and hit movies. And here was this amazing video. And it simply said, you are extremely powerful and you have a massive change, a massive role coming up. And you are simply here right now to rest. Rest. That is all you are required to do right now. Everything is being aligned in your favor. And it hit me, guys. It hit me so hard that I quit applying for jobs, because what I mean by my awakening, right? The ego death, that part of Jason, that job, that who he was, that fear, that guilt, that the sin that you guys like to use, was all dead. No matter how hard I try to find a job, it's never going to work. It won't work. And it's been shown that to me. Like I said, well, I'm going to move to Arizona, screw you guys. I'm not going to California, even though I said I would. Well, that didn't work out either, because here I am. They made me so sick until I caved in and said, okay, I'll go. And yet here I sit in the parking lot of a truck stop with nowhere to go, no money, no nothing. And yet money has been coming into, it's been flowing into me. A friend of mine last night gave me, he said, Jason, no bullshit. Are you okay? I haven't spoken to him in 40 years. And he said, I need to know. And he said, I said, no, I'm hurting, bro. I said, I am. I said, but what little money I have in my account, I said, I need you to understand, Jim, that I am beyond blessed and grateful. I don't want to get emotional on you. I said, I should be terrified. I should be everything that I'm going against. And I said, I am beyond grateful for what I have in my account. I have a place to sleep in my car. I can wash. I can brush my teeth. I've got a bathroom that I have to walk across the parking lot to go to. I said, so I'm blessed. I am grateful. And he said, I'm sending you some money through Venmo. And he sent me 300 bucks, right? I was like, and he said, I need you to understand that this is not a loan. I love you, man. He says, I can't believe you even did this. Nobody in their right mind would do this. I said, Jim, I said, this has to do with my death. It's a spiritual thing. I was asked in 2023, and if you guys listen to my videos, you'll know that the angel said, are you willing to relocate to Sacramento? Well, when I couldn't find a place to stay and I couldn't find a job, my rent came due, I packed up and moved with no place to go, not knowing anybody, having nobody here. And here I sit, and money has been flowing into me. There's a patron member here. She buys me lunch every other day. Hey, have you eaten today? No. She goes, what do you want? And she'll pick me something up, and I get it. I have been divinely guided here, and I can't believe that there is absolutely no fear in me. And I'm going to talk about fear, guilt, and the ego in a minute. But Steve, I'll get to you in just 1 second. I do have Venmo, brother, or I do have PayPal. Um, Private message me if you know what I'm saying, so I can put it out there. It's a picture, really. Here, let me see if I can find it. No, that's not it. Um, I don't know if I can post a picture here, bud. Um, so you'll have to message me privately, bud, and I can give you my PayPal stuff, but I can't find a way to get a picture in here because I do have it, but I can't find it now. So um, I was able to go get a bit of groceries, meaning some chips and um, some small things that I've been able to nibble on. I'm not Robin. I'm not in Arizona anymore. I'm in Sacramento, California. Um, the Arizona, they didn't want me there, and they made it abundantly clear. They got me brutally sick. And when I said, fine, okay, I'll go, then they took all the pain away. And I got up in the morning, that Friday morning, which was last week, exactly a week ago. Um, I drove basically almost 800 miles from Prescott, Arizona to Sacramento. Um, and so here I am. And still, I have no fear. I'm in absolute peace. It is discerning with just sitting here in the most expensive state there is, watching life take place, everybody scurrying around for jobs and doing their thing. And here I sit, not allowed to look for work because what is coming in is going to be life changing. And I believe that. But when I started looking for jobs, I started to fall back into fear, right? And when I realized that, guys, I stopped. They don't want me looking for jobs. No matter how hard I look for jobs, it's going to be no. It's been no for over a month. I've been working in those fields for 15, 20 years, and it's still no. They won't even get back to me. So, um, and that's where I'm at, guys. I am here. I live in a truck stop. The reason I'm here in my Jeep is I'm running my vehicle so I can charge my iPad, and I can at least get with you guys on a live. It may not be my house or my couch or whatever, but you guys are here. So, and I'm going to start redoing videos. So I'll do something on Sunday. So that should come out sometime in the week. And instead of me doing it every other week, I'm going to get with you guys every Friday. All right. So look for me every Friday. Right now it's 5:16 here in California. So for Central Time, it's 7 o'clock by you guys. Um, and I just wanted to share that with you right now, so you can see that I'm doing all right, and that everything, when you truly let go of fear, when you truly have faith that you are protected, that you are loved, that all of you would look upon what I'm doing as completely insane and nuts, right? And by practical purposes, if you didn't know what this was, you would say I was completely insane and had lost my mind. But I'm here. I'm protected. I'm not going hungry. I'm being taken care of. But it's very hard just to sit, right? Because you've been trained that you need to get up and go to work. You need to be trained to take care of your wife or your boyfriend or your girlfriend or whatever. You've been trained to train your kids the same way, to get up, that you need to succeed. You need to buy that house. You need to go to college. You need to have a fantastic job. You need to stock money away. That's all fear-based, guys. That's all fear-based. And that's why I tell you guys that we've been taught wrong. We simply came here, to be honest with you, right? When we started this, we simply came here to do nothing in the physical. All right? Yeah, we came here to do nothing except to love, be loved, and love one another, make love to one another. In that process, we are going to rediscover who we are, but we set up a horrific game of attrition where we hate one another, and that hate starts, and now I'm going to talk about fear and the guilt, right? Where the reason you guys get sick, meaning you get cancer or you get diabetes or you get whatever it is that you get, it's because you hate yourself. You invest so heavily in something that is meaningless, in little. When I told you, when I left my body and I saw it laying there on the bed, it meant nothing to me. Nothing to me. It was nothing. That's how little this thing is. But yet all of you dote on your body. And what domain is that? That's the ego. The ego is the body, guys, right? Hook, line, and sinker. Make no mistake about it. And every single one of you that watch this, because these videos are timeless, and those that are listening right now, you, whether you want to believe it or not, you hate yourself, which is what the ego wants. Because what does truly the ego want? It's kind of counterproductive, right? The ego wants you dead. All right? The ego has been every voice inside your head. I'm fat. I'm ugly. I ain't good enough. No man's going to ever love me. What kind of job is this? I'm not successful enough. I don't make enough money. All ego. The ego is not your friend. It wants you dead. Dead. So it can take over and triumph over God. So when you all read the Bible, what does that sound like to you? The devil. Right? The ego is not your amigo. It attacks, it condemns, and it judges, and it will viciously attack you. Not only you, but your brothers and sisters, which are you. They're all your creations. All right? Because there is only one. So that is how you get sick. You hate yourself. You loathe yourself. Therefore, you project your unwanted guilt, fear, hate, anger on your body. Thus, what does all that negativity do? Gives you cancer, gives you diabetes. All right, Steve, bless you. Thank you. Right? So that is how your body gets sick. Your body is immaterial. It's nothing. It's a container, a vessel. Yes, you need it to get around, but other than that, you know, what is it good for? It does nothing for you. There's nothing in it for you. So your body is meaningless, guys. It is little. That's why Jesus freely gave up his body, because he didn't care. It meant nothing. My body now means nothing. And what I mean by this, I'm going to tell you, for the last month, ever since I gave up the love of the body or the need or the want of it, which I tell the Holy Spirit every day, I don't want this body anymore. I don't want to be attached to it. It means nothing to me. By that, my whole sexual drive is gone, guys. I have not had an erection in over a month, nor a desire. And every time a sexual thought would come into my head, I asked the Holy Spirit to take it away. I want none of it. And it's instantly gone, guys. Instantly gone. So that is why you get cancer. That is why women get breast cancer. That's why you get sick and lose a child. That's why you get whatever it is you get, because you are loathing and hating yourself. And not only that, now you're projecting that fear, that guilt, that hate, that rage out on to your brothers and sisters. And then what do you do? Now, I'm just going to use the female version because it's easier. They'll be having a nice, swimsuit on, or, their boobs out, and they'll, oh, she's got the same swimsuit I do. She look at her fat gut. Her tits are too big. My swimsuit's better. That's all ego. You're attacking. Why? You hate yourself. Now you're taking that hate, and now you're using the ego, and now you're going to attack a same version of yourself, because everybody on this earth is you. So now you're going to attack another creation that you created, right? That's the ego, right? And what I'm in right now is the absolute death of the ego. I have nothing but love for you all. Every time I see somebody out here, right? I'm on limited resources, and there's a young black man that sleeps in the ditch right next to me, all right? Young. He couldn't be more than 23, 24. I mean, gross looking, disgustingly filthy, dirty. And it was brutally hot a couple days ago, and he collapsed by my Jeep. And even though I'm homeless and I'm living on very limited food, very limited money, I looked at him and I said, Father, I can't let him starve to death. I cannot let him die. That's me, I said. And I just looked at him, and I got up and I walked over to him and I said, have you eaten today? And he couldn't even speak. He said, I'm so thirsty. I said, I'm sorry, guys, but this is what love will do to you when you let go of the fear and the hate. So I grabbed a bunch of canned food for him, like 3 bottles of water, and I've never seen anybody drink 3 bottles of water that fast in my life. I mean, he chugged them down. He took 2 bites of food and he put his head down on the ground and passed out because he was so hungry. All right. And now here I sit with limited food and supplies, but I didn't care. That was me laying in that ditch dying. So when you get rid of the ego, you get rid of that fear, you get rid of the guilt, you can see yourself in everybody. I guess what coming here to Sacramento did was allow me to see that. And I sat down and I cried for like 45 minutes. Because my whole life I looked down on those people. It's like, go get a fucking job. Get off your lazy ass. How do I know his whole family wasn't raped, murdered, and killed? Or they went to the store and he's the only survivor of his family and he couldn't take going home. Or he did make that one mistake and tried a drug that ended whatever it was he did. Does he deserve to lay in that ditch and die? I couldn't do that. And that's what love true love will do to you guys. I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional, but um, that's what happens when the ego gets stripped away from you. You are left with nothing but unconditional love for everyone. All right. But going through my awakening, I understood what that lack of motivation was. I'm not striving for that top career anymore. I'm not striving to have $5 billion in the bank. I'm not striving to have, look at my house. Oh, look at my pretty cars. Look what I, that's all gone, guys. It's all gone. Now I know that stuff is coming, right? Because I've been manifesting and it's here. I'm here. It's going to happen. Um, but all of that drive left. And now all I want to do is to serve, to be of service, to help not only you guys who follow me and who listen to me and, listen to my teachings, but to all those that are unable because they're so lost in their dream. They're so lost in the dark that they don't know what to do. And watching all of this unfold before me is bone crushingly heartbreaking. The drug problem here and the in California, um, and the homelessness is epic. There's several families here living at the truck stop because they're living all in their vehicle, right? 3 dogs in this one Suburban with this husband and wife that look like the Beverly Hillbillies. They're so filthy and dirty, and it just breaks my heart. And here I sit, having a freak out moment saying, what good am I? I should be applying for work. I should be applying. And then it dawned on me, you're Jason, that's fear. Aren't you not being taken care of? Aren't you being supported and loved and guided? And I was like, yes. And I said, all right. I said, I apologize to myself first. I apologize to Father for having that freak out moment. And then I said, I will no longer look for work. I know I'm taken care of. I know you guys have my back, and what's happening is going to happen. And that is exactly what's taken place with me, guys. All right. So that's why I'm in my car, because I have no place to go to do the live. When you see my videos, when I start talking, my next video is going to be really in depth on fear. I've been journaling here in my car. So I want you guys to see how scared you really are and how it really affects who you are. And it affects not only who you talk to, meaning your parents, your children, your husband, your spouse, whatever it is, how it truly affects your illusions, because everything you see and do here is an illusion. It's not real. But how in depth and how ingrained in it you guys are. So look for that video this coming week. So I'm going to do that on Sunday. And I'll probably do it in the same spot, but you guys will not only see that, and again, you guys will see me. I'll do the lives because I enjoy them. I enjoy being with you guys. It makes me feel good, and I know you guys enjoy it because, I may say something in the beginning, middle, or end that really resonates with you, and it sets you off on a path of, rediscovering who you are, right? But I want you to understand something really quick. What time is it? Yeah, oh, we got half an hour. Okay. Is that your body is meaningless. All right. It will bring you nothing but pain. Even when you think your sexual desires are okay, because you're not healed from the guilt and the fear, it'll still bring you pain. You will still fight with your spouse. You will still argue. The ego is a clever bastard, and he hides in the body. That's his domain, right? It's all ego. It will, until you can master where you're at in your life, meaning fear, guilt, and knowing that what sin is, when they talk about sin, it's really a lack of love because you don't love your body. Therefore, you attack your body. So even though you think you're being intimate and it's all good, it's not. You're not there yet. It will bring you nothing but pain and loss. And that's why many of you are unsatisfied in a sexual relationship. You're unsatisfied in your marriage or whatever. That's the reason why. Because not only are you attacking yourself, now you're attacking your partner, but you don't know it because you think in your head, oh, we're going to be intimate. No, it's still an attack. The ego's still attacking not only you, but your partner. So it will bring you nothing but pain. That's how minuscule and meaningless your body is, guys. All right? And that's when I tell you that the only way to get rid of this is through going inside. You have to accept the Holy Spirit. He's never left you. God has given him to you, just like he gave Jesus the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit worked through Jesus, right? Jesus had no fear from the time he was born until he was murdered. He had no fear because he knew everything that was being experienced was simply in his mind at home. The body meant nothing. But what does mean something to you guys is your thoughts. And you've heard me say this a million times. They create your reality, right? You have to be mindful of what you're thinking. 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days, period. When you're in a good mood, you're in a good place, you're living without fear, you're guiltless, you're living without fear, so you've got fearlessness, and you've told the ego to go stick it, right? But then all of a sudden you'll go home and then the panic, then the dread, then you've fallen back into fear, right? And all of that illusional bullshit gets brought back up to the surface because you have fallen into the trap of the ego. You have to be mindful. You cannot dote on your body. Your body is the biggest deceiver in your life. All right? I'm not a man. If there's any females in here, Robin, you're not a female. Illusion number one. You think because you got boobs and a hole between your legs that you're a female. You're not. All right? The body is simply here for you to use to get from one place to the other. No different than this vehicle that I'm in, this Jeep, to get me from Walmart and back. Am I to love it and dote on it? No. Why? I'm worshiping a false idol. It's the same thing with your body. You're worshiping a false idol. All right? So quit doting on your body, guys, because that is the domain of the ego. Well, Jason, what am I supposed to do? Acknowledge the fact that it means nothing every day, like I do when I meditate 3 or 4 times a day, right? I tell the Holy Spirit, this means nothing to me. I tell Jesus, I don't want to be attached to this body anymore. And it's true. I do not want to be here anymore. I understand what Jesus meant by, he said, I never want to be in a body again. I don't want it. I get it. It sucks. There's nothing here in it or that I need from it because everything that I get is in my mind, which is at home with Father. And what we have really done, right, is taken a circle in all of the universe, right, like a pinhead, bloop, and we walled ourselves off. I gotta sneeze, guys. Oh, I am so sorry. What we've done is we've taken a little patch of the universe, right? And the ego has claimed that it is his. Now, is the ego loving or hateful, evil, vengeful? Well, vengeful, right? Hateful, wants you dead. So instead of having a beautiful, lush garden full of trees and fruits, you're sitting in a patch of fucking desert with sand whipping in your eyes, your face is brutally hot, and you got this little fence around guarding yourself because you don't want God to come over to you, right? Because if God comes over to you, what are you going to do? Or what's the ego going to do, right? The ego is going to try and kill God, right? So now you're walled off from everything that you've ever known because you're scared. and you're sitting in the middle of a desert, basically like I am, with brutal heat, scorched earth, sand and dust hitting you in the face, and you say you're happy. So, how many of you out there are truly happy in your life? With your job, with your career, with your kids, with your location, with everything that you have? I can guarantee you 99% of you are not in any way happy with what you've done. Now, well, Jason, I have a good career. Okay, great. But other than that, is the rest of your life peachy? Are you good? These bodies were created, believe it or not, for eternal. Yes, these were never meant to die. But yet the best we can do as a human species is get maybe 70 or 80 years out of them before they're... And why do they die? The ego wants you dead. So what does your body do? It dies, right? Now, the ego doesn't know this, that when he wants you dead, and when you actually do die, he's like, yay. But then what happens to the ego? He's dead too, right? You go home, because you're already home. The part of you that is actually here, wrapped around this body, like in Star Wars, Obi-Wan Kenobi. I told you that in my near-death experience, right? You detach from the body, and all of a sudden you're like, what the hell is this? Where, because you were so lost in all of these illusions. You were in the dark. And I'm trying to shine that spotlight in all your lives so you can see where you are, what you need to do in your own life to climb out of that dark hole and to see the sun shine, right? So while you're locked away, let me give you an example. It would be like a ray of sunshine, right? All of a sudden, going in a deep hole and hiding from the sun because it's angry and hateful at the sun. The same thing with a ripple on the ocean. That ripple runs and hides from the rest of the ocean and hates the ocean. Now, while that little ray of sunshine and that ripple of water is hating on the sun and the water, does the sun and the water know any different? No, they have no idea they're being hated on. But what they don't understand is that they are a part. That little ray of sunshine is a part of that sun, isn't it? When you see that ray sometimes come down, you can just see it perfectly hit the ground, right? Now that little ray is terrified and hates the sun, even though it's a part of it. That's how you look at God. That's how the ego looks at God. You are fearful of your Father, your Creator, because you think there's retribution coming to you, that there's judgment, just like that little ray and that ripple of water on the ocean. But they don't know that when they join back together, it's like, oh, what was I so scared of, right? It's the same thing, guys, with you. You're so fearful of your Father, of God, that you've walled yourself off in a part of the universe and refuse to get out of that gate. You're terrified. I mean, I'm not kidding. So much so that you hate on yourselves, you give yourself diseases, and you end up killing yourself because of it. That's how simple this is, guys. When I told you I became one with everything, the bliss, the nirvana, right? I kicked down that wall. I stepped out of that little desert and boom, I became the universe. I was the universe and I am the universe. Not only that, I and the Father are one, right? I merged back with, like the little ray of sun, merged back with the sun. And the little ripple on the ocean became the missing part of the ocean and never knew that it was missed, right? That he ever left. So that is what fear and guilt will do. You are to feel guilty about nothing in your life. Nothing. Does that seem harsh? Yes, because the way you were taught to grow up, to feel and think, it is brutally hard to sit there and think that you've done nothing wrong, that you've said nothing wrong. And that is absolutely the truth. Nobody here that will listen to it now or later will can possibly understand what that means. So you're telling me, Jason, that Adolf Hitler did nothing wrong. That's right. And not only did he do nothing wrong, he's guilt-free and fear-free. Same thing with Jeffrey Dahmer in Milwaukee, right? John Wayne Gacy. They did nothing wrong. And not only did they do nothing wrong, Father was just as happy to see them come home as he's going to be happy to see any of his children come home. That is a fact. So when I told you guys in several of my videos that I wasn't a nice guy, right? That is true. So now if you can listen to my video again, when I was in in that love, in that light flowing through me, I became the universe. I became the light. I merged with Father. I and the Father are one. Then what happened? I began to become ungodly guilty and ashamed of myself for the things that I said and did. And what did he do? He bestowed more love upon me. And I knew where I was going to go. And that place simply did not exist. It existed because that's what the ego wants you to think. It wants you dead. It wants you to burn in hell. Doesn't exist. So the more guilty I felt in my Father's arms, the more love he bestowed upon me. And that was his way of saying, you have done nothing wrong, my son. I love you. You did nothing wrong. And then when Jesus showed up and bestowed more love upon me, the guilt again started to come, right? And more love was bestowed by Yeshua to me. And that is when I finally got the message. I did nothing wrong. I was beautiful. I'm perfect. And I am exactly the way my Father made me. I am. So if you want to know why I am fearless right now and guiltless and without a lack of love, it is because I know who I am. I know I've done nothing wrong. And I am not ashamed of anything that I have done in my life. And I will never allow that back into me. I am at peace. Even what I'm going through right now, living in this Jeep, having very little food to eat, having very little motivation to move because gas is so expensive. I am happy. I look out into the desert when I see the sun, the moon, the moon come up, and I'm beyond grateful for everything that is going on in my life right now. When most people would be terrified, freaking out, I'm at peace. I'm at peace. But I want you to know that that is what fear and guilt will do to you guys. It will cause you sickness. It will cause your body to decay. It will cause you cancer. It will cause you breast cancer, whatever it is, kidney disease, lung disease, bipolar. That is because all of you hate yourself. And you take that hatred, which is what the ego wants, right? The ego wants you. He wants you angry. He wants you mad. He wants you vengeful. He wants you spiteful. And he wants you to hate yourself because it is knowing that it is going to eventually kill you, which is what he wants you to do, to die. And the moment you stop that, the moment you stand in the shower, ladies, and say, I'm not shaving anymore. The moment you look at yourself and say, I am beautiful just the way I am, you can love me for it or you can hate me for it. But I love myself, right? And that is the way you need to be. Oh my God, look at that. 44, 44 on the timer. I got you. divine. See how they're they're guiding me. Um, the homeless guy just walked by. Um, so that's what I want you guys to do, right? And I'm going to keep preaching to this. I'm going to keep talking with you guys. I'm going to keep working with you guys on this. All right. So last 15 minutes, guys, you guys got any questions for me? There's what, 80 of you guys here? Anything? Or I can keep rambling on. It doesn't matter. I want to give you guys a couple minutes to ask some questions if you got any. If not, I can, trust me, I can keep going. I can keep going. But look for that video that I'm going to do sometime Sunday. I will do that. So nothing. All right. Let's see. What can I talk about? Um, have any of you guys forgiven Jesus? Anybody? I'm gonna read you something that I jotted down. Um, basically, that Jesus made, or you made Jesus the state of grace, right? You've given him the state of grace, basically, meaning that you have forgiven Jesus. And you're like, why do I have to forgive Jesus? You do. Again, it goes to the body, right? Because Jesus became the symbol of your sin, your hatred, your violence, your ego, right? So, what did Jesus have to do then? But you've been taught this by the church, right? Jesus had to die because of you, right? Because you did not forgive Jesus. Like you have not forgiven your brothers and sisters for what you perceive they have done to you, when all of them are simply your creations. There's only one, remember? That's God. And I've told you that I am God, right? And if I'm God, you're God. So that means every person that you see is your creation. But have you forgiven them? So to the ego, sin means death. And so atonement, the only way you can get atoned and go to heaven is what? Through murder, through death. And that's exactly what happened to Jesus, wasn't it? We murdered him because of your guilt and fear. Now, you, as a projector, projected that onto Jesus, meaning those people did it during the day, right? And for 2 millennia, you've listened to the church saying that the exact same thing. He had to die for your sins, for that atonement, so you can go home. So how many of you have forgiven Jesus? Because that's part of the illusion that you're caught up in, guys, right? So salvation is looked upon as a way by which the Son of God was killed instead of you, right? But you're still going to die, right? Because none of you have awoken enough yet to become enlightened. And that is the whole purpose of you coming here, right? So every time you see a new baby, oh, how old? He's a couple weeks old. There's nothing innocent about that baby, right? The only thing that it did was the ego created another body. So it can, in turn, kill that child, right? It's going to grow up being taught all the wrong things. And that's what I'm desperately trying to stop, all right? So don't believe in Santa Claus, because if you do, then you believe in Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, the Tooth Fairy, and all of that. But Mommy and Daddy told you that, right? The church told you that some poor whelp of a kid was born in a pile of shit thrown in a trough, and somehow an angel came down from the heavens with a book saying, you better effing listen or you're all going to die. Come on. We projected our unconscious guilt, all of you have, and even me, most of my life until my death, onto Jesus, that he had to die so you could be saved, which is the biggest pile of in the world. And that is why I began to teach, because I want you all to understand how powerful you are, how loved, how magnificent, and how beautiful you are. That one, you are not guilty of anything. Two, there is no such thing as sin. So sin is just a pile of crap. It simply means a lack of love, and that you have nothing to fear, that you need to be fearless in the face of nothingness, because all you've done is created illusion after illusion after illusion after illusion. It's like walking through the desert and seeing that mirage, and you're going to keep walking without water until eventually you fall on your face and die. Why? Because you believed in the illusion that you were seeing, that 15 more steps is going to bring you some water. And those 15 turned into 40. That turned into 5 miles, turned into 10 miles, and now you're dead. God's going to say, well, what was that about? Right? It's the same thing. Wake up, guys. It's all an illusion. It's all taking place in your mind. It's not real. You have to reprogram your mind. That's it. And how do you do that? You will not be able to do this on your own. Okay? It's taken me 5 years after the most amazing thing happened to me to finally ask the Holy Spirit for help and guidance. And he has done exactly that. He is taking the last of the darkness within me and he's filling it with light and love. That's exactly what he does. Jesus loves you more than you could ever possibly know. And he is right there with you. All you have to do, guys, is say, Jesus, hold my hand. Walk with me, please. And he will walk with you. He will walk with you and the Holy Spirit. They will guide you. They will take care of you. But you have to ask, right? You came into this physical realm. You came back into that little tiny shithole that you walled yourself off from. Everybody, God, Jesus, the Holy Spirit, because of the ego, right? Yeah, I was a Christian too. Then I went, F you, because God doesn't care, right? So we all walled ourselves off with the ego and said, F you, but you don't know the power that is all yours when you step through that gate. It's like the movie The Meg with the shark. Remember when they saw that incline at the bottom of the ocean? You think those mountains are real. You think that gate, that house that you're in is real, when all you have to do is believe and push through. And then what is waiting for you is the entire universe, the galaxy, everything. The love will come pouring into you. But you would rather sit in that pile of shit, sand, dirt, scorched earth, and have the heat and sand sting your eyes instead of stepping out from the illusion, from that fear, from that guilt. You're also terrified that Father is going to smite thee, and he's anxiously awaiting your arrival back home. He misses you terribly, but he also knows that you're having a wicked dream. You're having a nightmare. And that is what you have created, what we have created on earth. Fucking nightmare. And you all know it because you all live it every day. You're all terrified. And you know it whether you want to admit it or not, that you're terrified. And you have nothing to be terrified of, guys. You are loved. You are fiercely protected. Father is dead. Look at that, 555 on the clock. Wow. More divine guidance, huh? He wants you to wake up. He wants you to call out to. He's waiting for that love connection. You remember that after over 43 years of not having any kind of connection with my father, that when I lay there dying, After the tube and stuff was taken out, I got on my hands and knees. And what did I do? I cried out to him in love. I established that love connection to Father, my creator. All right. I'm not just some flickering little light that you see, like when your light's going out in the house and it flickers. Right. Nah, I'm a full beam. Him and I are in full contact. I feel him all the time. That's why I got emotional with you guys today. I feel the love. And there is nothing but love awaiting you guys on a scale that you cannot even imagine. All right. Sorry, guys. Somebody was calling me. Um, so he's waiting for you. And I have become his teacher. I have become an extension of him. So when I came back from my near-death experience, being a Christian, when I told you guys, I was pissed off. I was pissed off. I was lied to my entire life. Nothing that I was ever taught was the truth. Nothing. All of this is a sham. It's a scam. And religion is nothing more than good old-fashioned politics. They want you scared. They want you fearful. They want you in a low vibrational state. They're not protecting Jesus's bloodline. And I'm talking to you, Steve, about the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church doesn't give a shit about Jesus's kids. Jesus had 3 kids, 2 boys and a son. They could care less. That meant nothing. But what does mean something to the church is what he was teaching. What I am teaching you. That back then, 2 millennia ago, was revolutionary. He was not allowed to teach what he was teaching. It got him killed. When the church went in with the Crusades, in the first Crusades and the second Crusades, you think they were there to free the land from the infidels, from the Muslims and all the other jamokes out there? No. They picked up every single scrap of information that pertained to what he was teaching. And it is now at the bottom of the Vatican in that library where nobody is allowed to go. And if you do break in there and you do somehow get down there and start to break in, they will shoot you on sight. They will kill you. So today, just like 2,000 years ago, what is down there that is so worth murdering somebody for? The truth of who you all are. You are all gods. And you misunderstand how powerful you are. From the moment your eyes awake, that bedroom, that bed did not exist until you put it there. When you walk out and take a shower, it didn't exist until you put it there. When you walk out to go to work and you look around and see the trees and the birds and the plants, it didn't exist until you put it there. And where is it coming from? Your mind. Right? Just like in the movie Avatar, when he laid down in that bed, whoo, you see, that's everything that is taking place. In your deep sleep, it is coming out through your eyes, which are lenses, projectors, and you are projecting out what you are seeing. Do you understand how powerful you are? That is who you are, and that is what the Catholic Church is protecting. So all of you that go to church, let me ask you this before we go. Hey, Tessa, I'm doing fantastic, but it's stressful, hon. And if you missed the video, I'm in Sacramento, California now, but let me finish what I was going to say. And what I was going to say was, I forgot. Shit. Oh, what was I going to say? I forgot what I was going to say. Damn. Anybody remember what I was talking about? Oh, being good old-fashioned politics, the church, right? The church, oh, right. So why do you go to church? Right? You would all go to say, well, I need to worship God. Why? Does God have an ego? Does he need it stoked? Do you need to reach around and grab him? Huh? No. God does not have an ego. God does not want to be worshiped, doted on, this, that, and the other thing, because all you're doing is doting on yourself. And that is the domain of the body, the ego. God does not have an ego. God does not give a shit if you go to church, nor does he want you to go sit there and blow smoke up his ass, because he doesn't need it. What he does want you to do, and it's imperative that you do this, guys, is to figure out who you are. Church has nothing to do with anything here, guys. Nothing. God does not have an ego. He does not need to be stoked. He does not need to be worshiped. Just like the Ten Commandments, right? Who's he going to command? Himself? There's nothing for him to command. Everybody on this planet is a version of himself, of one mind. When Jesus said that, I and the Father are one, he meant we are all of one mind. And it is the truth. Everybody on this planet is God. So why would God need an army? Why would God need the Ten Commandments? Now, you could turn those 10 commandments into commitments. My commitments to you, that's beautiful, right? It's the same thing with church. You don't need it. It's garbage. And Jesus would simply tell you, it just gets in the way of who you are. And it's meant to do that, guys. It is meant to keep you small. A small, tiny speck in the infinite universe, wrapped in that tiny little desert-like structure where you're flipping everybody out. Look at me. Look at me. Yep, look at me, right? And in the meantime, you're hot, sand, burned, everything, when all you got to do is push out and, hey, I'm home. Here I am, right? So that's what we're talking about here, guys. All right? Wake up and realize who you are. Wake up and realize how powerful you are. You are immensely powerful. You created the universe. You created everybody, not everybody, everybody in the universe. So when you look out and you see people walking at Walmart, going into grocery stores, here, that's all your creations. Those are all versions of you. You created them in your image. That is what you are seeing when you go out into the world every day. That's what Jesus was trying to tell you. You have nothing to fear. It's all you. And that's what I'm telling you. When all 9 of you are here, they're all versions of myself. I created you, even though I can't see you, right? They're still me. That's how simple it is, guys. Hey, Tess. I left Arizona. I am now in Sacramento, California. I'm living at a truck stop in my vehicle. That's okay. I'm going to tell you right now. Um, I was it last week, Thursday, yesterday, was in a campsite in Prescott, Arizona, um, just enjoying camping, trying to figure out what I was going to do. We got evicted out of the hostel when I was in Scottsdale. Had to find some place to go. Went camping, and I'm like, okay, I'm staying here. Yeah, I changed the rules, I said, but we're staying here. Well, that was a no-no. Thursday morning when I got up, they got me extremely sick. My groin hurt really bad, like somebody had kicked me in it all day. I got violently sick, throwing up, headache, and I was so worn out that by 5:30, 6 o'clock, I crawled into the back of my Jeep here, and I said, okay, I know what you're trying to say. You want me in California. You want me in, all right, I will go in the morning. I will leave. I'll pack up. I will go. And the moment that happened, Tess, all the pain went away in every aspect of my body. It just simply was gone. And I knew right then and there that when I called it Archangel Michael, if you watched one of my videos, when he said, would you, when I remember when I came out of sushi, and we were talking about money and this, that, and the other thing. Um, he said, "Would you be willing to relocate?" And I said, "Yeah, for that kind of money, yeah." Where? And he's like, how about Sacramento? I'm like, in California? Why? Why California? What's there? Uh, I like, okay, for that kind of money, right? Well, if you guys remember, like 4 months ago, when I walked in from work and my house was torn apart, the bed, the lights were on, the computer chair was pulled out, all my beds were trashed, things thrown on the floor, right? That was the sign, which I didn't understand at the time. I was like, what are you guys trying to tell me? Was that your life in a little bit is going to be just like that. It's going to be disheveled, thrown apart. Everything you've ever known is now gone. I didn't know what it meant at the time. And then um, when I couldn't find a job, my lease came due. They moved my rent past what I could afford. Tried finding jobs, tried, couldn't, right? And then my disheveled life took off, right? I packed everything up, threw everything out. 50 years of my life, both marriages, they got tossed out, kept very little. That's in a pod. And then I took off on the road without fear. And I thought Arizona, I thought I could sneak away and just say, hey, nah, I don't want to go. Well, they said no. So here I am in Sacramento. My funds, money meaning, is brutally low. I'm living at a truck stop, which they allow me to sleep here for free. I can use the bathroom. I got water jugs. Like I was telling these guys, this is what I bathe in every day by the side of my Jeep. I fill it with water and I shave and get the parts that I need to clean. Um, haven't really eaten a meal in 3 weeks, like a meal. Um, and I'm blessed. I'm here. I made it here. My car made it here. I'm alive. I'm breathing. And even though for the last, I'd say 2 weeks while I've been here, um, I've been trying to find jobs, right? And every single job that I've applied to in this time has been denied. I've worked in this field for 15 to 20 years of my life, and every job is coming back. Sorry, no. Sorry, no, no, no. And then I woke up a couple days ago. I hit Facebook. I don't know why, because I never do that. And then all of a sudden, this video showed up and said, how powerful you are. You have conquered something massive in your life, meaning fear and guilt, and that you are in the place you're at to simply rest. You are here to rest. They've taken hunger from me. I'm not really hungry. I drink a lot of water because it's hot in the desert here. Um, and I'm okay. I'm healthy. As you can see, I'm looking at my face and look at all this dead skin. I keep losing more and more weight. So I'm sorry for the way I look, guys. I know it's gross, but um, it is what it is, right? And so here I sit, Tess, a little south in Sacramento, because they kicked me out there when I pulled over at a truck stop. They turned on the cops kicked me out, flashing lights and said, "Get out." And this was the place that accepted me. And so far, it's quite okay with the non-physical because I'm here. So I just have to believe that what's coming is coming and that it's going to fundamentally change my life. And that is the faith and belief that I have without question. So I am no longer looking for work. Um, I'm not going to tell people that I need money because that's just petty and it just rubs me the wrong way. A friend of mine found out I was homeless. He sent me $200 yesterday, so I was allowed to get a couple decent cans of food and get something else. But I'm being taken care of by the non-physical. I should be, starving to death and I'm drinking enough water, but here I am, perfectly healthy. So it's beautiful. So I'm in California. I'm doing all right. You know, I would say this that donations are more than welcome right now. So Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal, but that's all I'm going to say. Um, I am going to do lives every Friday now. So look for those. I will put out a video that I'm going to do. more in depth on fear this Sunday. So when I get up and settled, I will start on my video and then I'll get that out and taken care of. So, um, and that was it. So look for me on Friday night, guys. I love talking with you. I love being with you. It is a passion that it is something that I have never been able to understand until after my death, that being a Tog or a teacher of God has brought me such fulfillment, such union with my Father. It is a desire, a passion, and I don't want to say a need because we're not to need anything because we have everything that we could ever possibly want. But it is so fulfilling that I can't even begin to tell you guys that this is my life and career. And the reason they want me in Sacramento, for whatever reason, is that it's going to truly take off and ascend. And that is where faith comes. So sitting here doing nothing all day sometimes is really tough when you're watching everybody. And when I watch them, it's like ants scurrying around on the ground, right? When you see an ant nest and you're watching them go all over the place, that's what it's like watching all of you who firmly believe in what you're doing is real, when it's simply a flea circus. It's an illusion, right? There's no flea on the trapeze. There's no flea on the trampoline. But watching all these people take so seriously the delusional illusions that they're caught up in. And it's just bizarre. So I want you guys to break free from that. I want you to see and feel how powerful you are. I want you to know how loved you are, not just by me, but by your Father. There is no retribution. There is no judgment. There is no condemnation. He wants you home with him now. But he also knows that not only are you still home, but you signed a contract with him to come to experience this, to evolve as a soul, as a multidimensional being, right? And that is the whole purpose of embarking on this insane dream, this nightmare. We can all turn this around, all of us together. When we say wake up and realize who you are, love one another, make love to one another, be love, because love is the only thing in this nightmare that is real. It is tangible. It crushes the darkness. It takes away all the illusions. And that is truly the only thing that matters. And that is why I do this, because my love for you, for all of you, is something you will never understand. And that is why I teach. So I will leave it with that, guys. I love you. I am doing all right. I am in Sacramento. Um, and that is that. So look for the new video coming out sometime next week. Like I said, I will do it on Sunday. Next Friday, again, I will do another live with you guys. So if there's things that you want me to talk about in the lives, please put those in the comments. Or, you know, when this video gets posted on YouTube, you can leave your comments and stuff. Put them down there because I do read them. All right. So with that, it's 6:14 in the PM hours here in California. I love you guys. You guys take care of yourself. Remember who you are, that you are a God of infinite power, knowledge, and wisdom, all knowing, all powerful, and everywhere. Walk out of that gate, that little tiny hole that you've put yourself and walled yourself in away from God, and open your arms and know that that gate is nothing more than smoke, that you can walk right through it and enter absolute bliss. I love you guys. You have a blessed evening, and I will talk to you later. I love you guys.